I want to hear that it's not a constitutional law. I want to hear them uphold the rights of every citizen.
Quebecers like teacher Maha Kassef are anxiously awaiting the judgment from the Court of Appeal on the constitutionality of the province's Bill 21, which bans public sector workers like teachers and police officers from wearing religious symbols while on the job. 3 judges will rule on the secularism law and make the decision public on Thursday afternoon.
I want to see that those doors that have been shut in my face will now be reopened, that I can suddenly apply for a higher level position within the same board where I am, because I cannot do that right now.
Kassef is grandfathered, meaning she can wear her hijab to work since she was hired before the law was introduced. But for it to apply, she has to stay in the same position in the same school board.
I cannot apply, or I cannot go back to school and get my credits for like being a principal. The only way you can be hired in another school board is if you take it off.
The law, which targets government employees in positions of authority, is protected by Quebec's notwithstanding clause. And when it was adopted, Premier François Legault described it as moderate and a reflection of the views of the majority of Quebecers. But Kassef says it's only furthered the teacher shortage and resulted in unqualified teachers in classrooms.
We're willing to put up with that in our classrooms in Quebec, rather than have someone who has a cross around their neck or something on their head and say, well, at least you're qualified and you have a bachelor's degree in education and you know what you're doing. And that to me is very sad.
Supporters and opponents of Bill 21 had appealed a lower court ruling that mostly upheld the ban on religious symbols, except for English language school boards and elected members of the National Assembly. Now the appeal court has questions to answer like,
can the government of Quebec impose its version of secularism? The court could make a very big dent in this law. There might still be things that would survive, but it would be a much more limited law. Because you see, Quebec sees this laïcité, as they call it, as an essential part of its identity. Many of the minorities view the use of religion as an essential part of their cultural and religious views. So it's a clash between those two.
It's possible the case goes all the way to the Supreme Court, which could take at least another year to settle.
And I can be frustrated at the process that we have to go through in order to be understood and heard. But I'm not willing to give this up.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.